Hello again, welcome to another edition of Big League Soccer, the World Cup edition. My name is Tunde Koiki. With me in the studio today is Kozim Elegbede. Thank you for joining us, Kozim.
It's a pleasure today.
Well, the program today is very simple. World Cup semi-finals coming up. It is a titanic battle between Europe and South America. Historically, the World Cup has always been a fight between two of these great continents. South America on one side and Europe on the other side. And this time around, that is exactly what it is. The first semi-final is between Brazil and one of their major rivals, Germany. The second semi-final is between the Netherlands, the only team in the semi-final who has never won the World Cup before, and Argentina, two-time world champions and continental heavyweights in South America. So let us start with the review of how these four teams made it to the semi-final. Brazil, they did very well against a Colombia side that made them sweat for the win. Germany too overcame France by a lone goal as well. So those two teams, you must say that they did what was required of them to get to the semi-final. Not fantastic, but they did more than enough.
This is usually the situation when you get to this stage of the competition. I mean, it takes a goal to win a knockout match. And once the goal is scored and you can defend very well, I mean, then what's the point? And that is what all the teams, except Holland, who couldn't score during regulation time and extra time, but went through eventually through penalty kicks. So none of the four teams were spectacular in the quarterfinals. None of them.
No, let's stick to Germany, the Germany-France game, and let's stick to the Brazil-Colombia game first.
Fine. Germany scored an early goal, and that was it. Okay, and when you look at
German national team,
apart from that, Germany and France, they have history. That was the third time they will be meeting at the knockout stage of the World Cup, and Germany had always prevailed. 1982, it was a penalty. 1986, same semi-final. 82-86 semi-final against France. Platini in his camp, yet Germany prevailed 2-0. I mean, the 86 one was unbelievable in the sense that France were the European champions. Platini, John Tigana, Fernandez, fantastic team which just defeated Brazil in the quarterfinals. So the whole world was expecting France to go all the way. Germany were just too dull for everybody's liking, but hey, when it came to the clash against France in the semi-finals, they defeated France 2-0 before they lost the final to Argentina 3-2. So the history between them favored Germany, and that was exactly what prevailed. Martinez brought that goal. You could see that the French were not really out of that, and Germany didn't really have to get out of second gear in that game. Brazil-Colombia game was more lively. Yes, and I think Brazil more or less outmuzzled the Colombians. They didn't really allow Colombia to express them. Today they are crying that Neymar was terribly fouled and was kicked out of the World Cup and all that. But in reality, even looking at the statistics, Brazil committed highest number of fouls in World Cup history in that match. Yeah. Okay, so
how many times as tactical fouling, whereby you foul your opponents in order to ensure that they don't have the advantage in the game?
A foul is a foul. Okay, and when you amass over 30 fouls in a match,
you should go to the Germany Cameroon game of 2002.
But you could understand that. I mean, if Cameroonians were kicking the Germans, you could. But imagine Brazil kicking Colombia is like dog. It's like man now biting dog. Cameroon Germany would be dog biting man. Okay, because I mean Cameroon were the underdogs. Colombia were the underdogs, but Brazil took it upon themselves, especially to stifle James Rodriguez. And I can't remember how many fouls.
Juan Cuadrado was also severely kicked.
Yes, how many fouls that poor boy suffered in that match. Okay, but ultimately you can't argue. David Luiz's free kick, fantastic, deserving of winning any match in the world. Brazil went through ultimately 2-1, and I have to say, yes, they deserve to go through. They were prepared by the fans. They're going to miss Neymar against Germany, but my fear for Germany is that which Germany are we going to see? Because remember 2002, it was the final. That's what very often we play that final where Germany simply failed to come to the party against the Ronaldos, the Rivaldos, the Ronaldinhos. I mean, Brazil could have won that match, but it doesn't go. But they won 2-0 eventually. Oliver Kahn, yes, was probably the reason why Germany even got that far. Yes, this is a better German team, but don't forget they are playing on Brazilian soil, and we know how the whole nation has propelled the Seleção to
the sea of yellow.
Yes, it reminds you. It reminds you of
the way they sing the national anthem. They don't play it
with passion. It's the whole stadium
and the players.
You know, and the coaches. So it reminds you of South Korea, South Korea during South Korea Japan 2002. I mean, South Korea had no player in hell to reach the semi-finals of the World Cup, and I don't know whether they will ever repeat that again. But they rode on the crest of massive home support, and that is what Brazil is doing now. They've not been spectacular, to be honest with you, but they are there because they have been enjoying home support, just like they did during the Confederations Cup.
Okay, let's look at these two teams department by department. I'm talking about Brazil on one side and Germany on the other side. Let's start with the goalkeepers. Manuel Neuer against Julio Cesar.
Definitely, it goes to Manuel Neuer. That's, for me, arguably the best goalkeeper in the world. I mean, and comparing to Julio Cesar, Julio Cesar has been a success with the national team, unlike club side. He has no history as far as the club side is concerned. He keeps for it's not even a reserve at if he have yes, he should have Inter Milan, yes, when he won to treble, but that was when? That was like ages ago. That was 2010, 4 years ago. Okay, I mean, and he should be at his prime now, because goalkeepers are usually at their prime in their early stroke, mid-30s. But you know, Cesar, for QPR to have loaned him out and loaning him to where? To Toronto, Canada, tells you everything you need to know about that goalkeeper. A big goalkeeper on his day, but putting him side by side with Manuel Neuer, he has no player. For me, I'll go for Neuer 100 out of 100 times.
Germany always seem to have this history of producing some of the best goalkeepers. Neuer is just following in that. It's
not just history. They make painstaking efforts. You know, to make sure that this becomes sustainable.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the defense. Looking at the Brazilian defense on one side, no Thiago Silva. The Brazilians are quietly protesting and asking that FIFA rescind that decision. But no Thiago Silva, and you wonder who will step into the breach. Like, you tell us about that. But on the German side, the coach has been chopping and changing. Blanc plays midfield at times, sometimes plays right back. Jerome Boateng at times, sometimes Per Mertesacker. Hummels is the only constant
in the defense.
So let's look at the defense side by side.
Yes, without the inspirational captain Thiago Silva, I think Brazil has been dealt a very, very severe blow. Yes, David Luiz will take up the mantle and is capable of leading that defense. Then this guy will come in, the Bayern Munich defender, that's Dante. But Dante is not Thiago Silva.
No, he's not.
And then look at the fullbacks. I want to give it to Brazil because, I mean, there are two fullbacks, talking about Marcelo on the left and Dani Alves on the right.
Or Douglas
Maicon. They are as good as it gets all over the world. Germany don't have that. Lam, yes, but we know Lam, according to Lo doesn't like to play Lam as a fullback, and he has said he will take him back to the midfield. So we have to look at Germany's defense without Philipp Lahm. So when you look at that defense, you see Jerome Boateng, Mats Hummels, who is a leader, will be obviously on that department. There are others who plays probably central, even could play Philip. So for me, it's not as strong as Brazil, even in the absence of Thiago Silva. But Brazil will have to watch out for Hummels. He has scored 2 goals in this tournament. That's as much as he has ever scored for Germany. In all his international career. So he's having a very, very good World Cup. And when it comes to set piece, Brazil will have to be very, very careful.
Okay, let's move to the midfield now. For Brazil, you can't go beyond Paulinho, Luis Gustavo, Oscar. But for Germany, the combinations are various. Bastian Schweinsteiger is there as well. Mesut Ozil is there as well. Philipp Lahm possibly in the mix as well.
Mario Götze
as well.
Yes. Muller.
Thomas Muller.
Pseudo striker.
So let's look at these two departments.
Yes, in that department, I will have to go with the Germans. The only weak link, ironically, that I see there is Bastian Schweinsteiger. He's not been having a fantastic tournament. He's been more of a workman-like midfielder. He has flair, he has everything. I mean, but he's not in his pomp like we used to know. Compare that to Brazil. Yes, Paulinho, workman-like. Gustavo, workman-like destroyer. Fernandinho, of course, Fernandinho is also workman-like.
Oscar?
Oscar has become workmanlike, unfortunately so, because that boy's finesse or skill has been, creativity has been stifled and sacrificed for the good of the team. Well, some will say for the good of the team, but I don't agree, because I mean, it's like converting the story of Mikel now. Mikel, we need to be a very creative player. He came to Chelsea, he became a defensive player, and that destroyed the player totally. I'm afraid the same thing could happen to Oscar. Okay, but I look at Brazil midfield. Their midfield will be very pacey, because you have Willian there, you have Oscar, who is also fast, and even Paulinho.
I was even going to put them in the attack anyway, but let's...
because the way they're going to play, Fred will be the number, so you can look at 5 midfielders for Brazil in that respect. So pace, Brazil will have it, but when it comes to organization, you have to give it to Germany. And if they come to the party, I think that's the department where the game will be won. So who comes out top here? Like I said, I'll go with Germany, because I know that for sure say that Lam is like a master in orchestra in that department, and we have Müller who goes in and out. I mean, he goes all over the place and could cause damage. So I will go with Germany slightly in that department.
Okay, that's 2-1 to Germany. Now you're giving Germany 2 out of the 3 of the departments that we've looked at.
Yes.
Anyway, so finally, let's look at the strikers. On one side is Fred. I mean, probably the most Brazilian strikers, and you're somewhat disappointed, because Brazil always has a proud tradition of producing some of the best strikers in the world. But they've come with Fred, and his backup is Joe. And for Germany, they brought only one out-and-out striker, record chasing Miroslav Klose, who's currently on 15 goals with Ronaldo, joint highest number of goals in the World Cup history. He could make it 16 and probably hold the record for himself in this semi-final. What a stage to make it. But on the merits of looking at Fred on one side and Miroslav Klose on the other side, who takes this one?
Well, you see, it's ironic that I will be going with Fred here. Klose, yes, has everything, but not age. He has aged. Fred is powerful, and he could play with his back to goal, which allows the 5 midfielders, all inclusive now, to come in. I even imagine if Scolari wants to really shock the whole world or disorganize Germany, he could play Ork as the number up front. He knows he has power, yes. He has pace, he can take dead balls. I mean, for me, he is better, even suited to that position than Fred. But fine, Fred will play it, and Scolari is happy with him. What can we say? Klose, the mind of the big man for Klose is that he's aged. He's not as strong as he used to be, and that is why, I mean, showed in their quarterfinal match. He was out of his depth. I'm sorry to say that he disappeared. Okay, maybe he will be. He's a great poacher, and I imagine he will be a better player for them, coming in, late in the second half, like an impact player. That is the way I see him. So as far as attack is concerned, that is talking about the forward man, is Brazil. Okay. Because we have a Fred there, we have a Joe I don't so much like, but who could also step in, and we have a Ork who could lead the wing and play as a point man. You can't really pick anybody for Germany. Müller, is a ghost, or I mean, a pseudo or a false 9.
Well, he's still one of the highest goal scorers in the world already. Yeah, that's 2-2 for both teams. Brazil has taken 2 out of the 4 departments, while Germany has also taken 2 out of the 4 departments. That's a tie now. So the tiebreaker now are the coaches. You're wondering who is the better coach in this particular world. Joachim Löw, who has taken Germany to a record-breaking, I think... 4
tournaments now.
4 tournaments. I think, is this their 13th semi-final?
Yes. 13th
semi-final of World Cup. And you can't look past Luis Felipe Scolari, former World Cup winner in 2002 as well.
Talking about coaches, I'll go with Brazil. Because it's not just that Scolari has won the World Cup. He won it in 2002. He also has a previous winner of the World Cup on his bench. That's talking about Alberto Pereira, who won the World Cup in 1994. So you have 2 World Cup winners on Brazil's bench. I've never seen a bench more experienced than that. And that is why I say I go with Scolari. Yes, Joachim Löw has done a fantastic job with Germany.
60 years of coaching between Alberto Pereira and Scolari. 60 years of coaching.
60 years of coaching, and how many World Cups together? You know, Alberto Pereira played 7 World Cup to win in 1994. Scolari played 7 to win in 2000, and that's 14. That's massive experience. So you look at his World Cup experience as a head coach was 2010, where they got knocked out in semi-final. 7 matches, just 7 matches. Yes, he was assistant to Jürgen Klinsmann, but when you are assistant, you are an assistant. You are not the head coach. So Brazil will mean that hands down. Any way you want to look at it, in terms of experience, in terms of achievement, the Aquilo has not won anything with Germany. He's always been getting to the last 4, Euro or World Cup, getting to the last 4, but he's not won anything.
So finally, on the basis of that, who takes this semi-final? Will it be Brazil making it?
I would love to see Germany in that final, but my head tells me it's Brazil because the massive home support and the determination of the boys. I mean, it's a big campaign in Brazil. It's not just that you're playing to win the World Cup. Hello, they lost the World Cup in 1950 on home ground. They want to right that wrong. Okay, winning the World Cup again takes them further away from the rest of the world. 6. They're on 5 now. So you lose them to 6. That is 2 more than Italy. We're on 4. Then again, the fact that it's happening in Brazil regarded as the best football playing nation in the world. They don't want to let it slip. Everybody, every Tom, Dick and Harry in Brazil, it's like a campaign. That's
interesting. When the protests and all the riots, you
don't hear anything because like I told you, it's a national campaign that it has to be a mission accomplished. I don't know if they will accomplish it. And for me personally, as a football purist, I don't want them to accomplish it because that team, if they eventually go to win the World Cup, it will be the worst Brazilian team to have emerged as world champions. That is why I'm hoping that Germany will upset them and get to the finals. But my head tells me Brazil will scale through.
Okay, thank you, Samson. That has been the first half of Big League Soccer, the World Cup edition. Join us again for the second half very shortly. Hello, welcome back. This is still Big League Soccer, the World Cup edition, and I'm in the studio with Kozim Elebede. We've looked at the first semi-final of the 2014 FIFA World Cup. That was Brazil against Germany. Now the second semi-final is what we'll be looking at, when it will be Argentina against the Netherlands. 2 fabulous teams, especially the Dutch. They scored plenty of goals. They've had some dramatic encounters, Kozim. And let's look at how these 2 teams got to the final. Argentina overcoming their rivals by a lone goal. That was the courtesy of Gonzalo Higuain. Belgium, maybe they didn't really inspire that game. But the other semi-final, but the other semi-final was the Dutch against Costa Rica. Fantastic game. It was almost like table tennis at one point. It was end-to-end stuff. It went to penalties. Louis van Gaal substituted his goalkeeper at the last minute of normal time, of extra time, and that fellow ended up pulling up 2 fantastic saves. It was fantastic drama in that semi-final.
Let me start with the last game. That's the Netherlands against Costa Rica. As most people, I was rooting for Costa Rica because we like the underdog. You know.
And you have to give credit to the Netherlands. They deserved to go through, to be honest, because they created more chances. They hit the goalpost twice, you know, and they could have lost. That's how it's one of goalless draws you want to see again and again and again. Then Netherlands made history. It was the first time that they will be winning a game that went into extra time in 4 attempts.
Okay, anytime
they always lost some penalties actually.
Even in extra time they could lose. Either they lose in extra time or they lose in via penalty shootout. But anytime a game extended to extra time, you could bet your money that Netherlands will lose. So
once we got to that stage, I was like, hey, these guys were in trouble. And Costa Rica nearly won it at the death of the extra time. But, you know, that would have been too cruel on the Netherlands. Now, what Van Gaal did that the whole world is now acclaiming him. It's not new, especially to us Nigerians. You know, so I'm surprised how the world is. I think it's just all about hype. We remember Eyiba. The 2 seasons they won the CAF Champions League, Mr. Yama was the first choice goalkeeper. But every time a match was getting to penalty shootout, they would remove Yama and put the Eyiba. So it's not new. I think we could do it at that level in Africa.
That's about the highest level bad the Nations Cup in Africa. So
CAF Champions.
CAF Champions. So I wonder why the whole world is now saying, talking as if
the entire
it's never
world,
happened.
the entire world, maybe they don't know Imba or Kada or okay.
That's one of the problems we have, because Africa is not projected in the light we should be projected. Otherwise, people should have given Ghana, people like coaches like Ghana, big credit for doing that. So for me, what Banga did was not extraordinary. I mean, you train these goalkeepers, you know their abilities, and you plan.
I mean, knockout. The last person will be penalty shooter. And when he was getting to that stage, then you slot in.
When you start training your 5 penalty takers, you also know who your first choice goalkeeper is.
Of course, because
well.
Goalkeepers have different abilities. We have very good shot stoppers. Yeah. We have very good reflex savers and all that.
And according to Van Gaal, Tim Krul was taller, 6'4".
That was the only criteria.
Had a longer reach than
that was the only criteria. And I would say they deserve to go through, but they were lucky, because Tim Krul's record before that penalty, he faced 20 penalty kicks in England, only saving 2 out of 20. But he saved 2 that day, and he went right to all. He went in the right direction.
Right in all
so you want to give him credit, and it was a gamble that worked for the team. But for me, it wasn't really spectacular. So looking at Holland
against Argentina played against a very dull Belgian side, whose performance I would blame squarely on the coach. Mark Williams just decided not to be, he didn't release the free spirit in the boys. You had Janivas on the bench, Origi. For example, it took him time to start playing Origi. Okay? At that point when things were not going well, instead of putting Martins that didn't do anything throughout the World Cup, you throw in your wild card. It was Andre Janivas. I mean, that's the boy that we all know likes taking on opponents, run at you, very good dribbler, will cause all sorts of problems. Maybe they could have gotten away with a victory against Argentina, but that they didn't do it. I'll put it on the court. And even looking at Belgium, they were everybody's pre-tournament underdogs. Okay, but they didn't play anywhere near that. I would rate them as one of the
poorest underachievers,
most disappointing teams
at the World Cup. So the Argentina defeated them for me was not a big deal. Now looking at Argentina and Germany, yes,
Argentina and the Netherlands.
Argentina and the Netherlands. Like I said,
hold on, let's take it department by department like we did. Let's start with the goalkeepers. Jesper Cedersen for the Netherlands, and also Sergio Romero for Argentina.
I prefer Sergio Romero. I mean, he has more experience at this level. He was the goalkeeper in 2010, and he's still the goalkeeper, and he has done so well even during this tournament, considering only 3 goals.
Yeah, but was a bench woman in Monaco.
Yeah, well, but he has shown that he deserves to keep.
For any top club, his performance at the World Cup, he made some brilliant saves at the group stage, even in the knockout. So straight away, I go for him. And I know when it comes to penalty, Argentina will not solve it for anybody. So that's a minus on the Netherlands goalkeeper.
Okay, let's look at the defense. Look at the Netherlands. Interesting 5-3-2 formation. De Kuyt is playing as a right wing back.
Honestly,
there's also David Blind as well. There's also Bruno Martins in the. There's Ron Vlaar, and there's also the Stefan De Vrij.
Yes.
Yeah, from Feyenoord as well. And looking at Argentina, Zabaleta, Marcos Rojo should come back for Angelo Basanta.
Yeah.
And you look at the central defense as well, Ezekiel Garay.
And Kelly is like an impact or a supportive the central defender. I'll go with Argentina, to be honest with you, because I look at the Dutch. There is this imbalance in the Dutch defense. And
the main weakness they have there is injury. For all his endeavor, that guy yes, he lacks positional sense. He's just raw for me. He's raw, and that could cause them against very, very intelligent side like Argentina. Because I mean, against Lionel Messi, I expect him to commit him. I expect somebody like even Higuain to take advantage.
But I think you'll be isolating and targeting
injury.
If you are the
yes. And most likely Messi, because Messi is a left footer who often operates from the right, and that is where
the place on the left hand side of the defense is left.
Yes, so he's going to meet Messi. Are you getting it now? I mean, I look at him. He looks a very big weakling for the Dutch. Argentina, they have a very stable defense line. 4-man defense.
Look at Zabaleta, one of the best right fullbacks in the world, and in their left fullback too. It's not bad, and Ezekiel Gare has proved himself in Benfica. So Demichelis, if he's sitting on the bench, tells you the quality of the man who is benching him, because Demichelis will make the starting lineup of most teams in the world. So Argentina for me wins the defense again. Okay,
midfield now for the Dutch. You can't go past Schneider, Jorginho, Wijnaldum there as well. For the Argentines, you look at Mascherano. They will be missing and Di Maria, but they have Fernando Gago. We don't know who will be replacing Di Maria, but you think that he's a big loss for the Argentines?
Yes, because if we place Messi out of that midfield, then you have to go with the Dutch. Schneider alone is the brain any team in the world wants in the midfield.
He's an orchestra, he's a creator, he knows how to pick his passes, and he's very deadly on set pieces too. So, and then the Dutch midfield I expect it to be more vibrant, because Robin gives his support too. For me, Robin has been the player of the tournament. If you remove James Rodriguez, Robin, I don't know where he finds his energy. Both Arjen Robben and Doyle Court, these guys never appeared fair, even in the heat. When they played in the afternoon, they were full of running. 120 minutes. Yeah. I kept asking myself, are these guys on drugs?
Are they human?
Are they human beings? Talking about Arjen Robben, especially under Coit. For me, Robben, fantastic player at this World Cup, and if Holland goes on to win it, it will be because of Arjen Robben, not because of anybody else. So, midfield, I want to go with the Dutch.
Okay, let's look to the attack now. Obviously, for Argentina, you can't go past Lionel Messi and Gonzalo Higuain, and for the Dutch, Arjen Robben, and of the other flying Dutchman,
Robin van Persie. Of course,
for me, in spite of Robin, the plaudits I've given Robin, you still have to go with Argentina. Messi is easily the best player in the world
today, and he has been that for more than 5 years. And then, good looking for Argentina, Aguero is coming back. He's been off and on, but if he comes back, it's a big threat. So, combination of Aguero, Messi, and Higuain, I fancy them against any team in the world. And like I said, the Dutch have a very big weak link in their defense. So when you look at that, and Van Persie will know, if the midfield doesn't really function well, Van Persie is more or less a passenger, like he was in their quarterfinal match. It's the man who makes Holland tick. Is Arjen Robben, and then plus Wesley Sneijder. So if you have a top man who is captain and who is top man, who will not function without others, then that's a big problem. You can't see that of Messi. In fact, Messi drags the whole team on his shoulders. Okay, and Aguero is there too. And Higuain, so you can liken Higuain with Van Persie. Okay, if they don't have good support cast, they may not perform. But Argentina have two other players who could single-handedly drag that team on their shoulders.
I was talking about Lionel Messi and Sergio Aguero who will be coming in. So I go with Argentina.
Meanwhile, the Dutch have only Robin van
Persie. Only Arjen Robben.
Robin, I beg your pardon. So let's look at the coaches now. Alejandro Sabella on one side for the Argentines and Louis van Gaal on the other side for the Dutch.
Yeah, Louis van Gaal takes it.
Because, I mean, he's more experienced. He has achieved, even though it was at club level, because, I mean, his first international career with the Dutch, incidentally, was disastrous. He led the arguably Holland's best crop of players to fail to qualify for the World Cup. And that was the 2002 World Cup. But he has come back, second stint, and he has led them to the semi-finals of the World Cup. So he has built. So for me, he's more experienced. He has achieved club level. He has won everything.
Alejandro Sabella is not that bad as well. He won. He's not. He's also also very good on the Argentine team with the Estudiantes, leading them to the Copa Libertadores, also winning the Argentine Championship as well. When he was also an assistant coach to one of the World Cups, I believe.
Yes, when it comes to the to football, club football, it is Europe. If you know in Europe, hello, whatever you achieve, you still have to come to Europe and prove yourself. Otherwise, Tata Martino's, for example.
Because, I mean, the country that holds the records of World Cups is Brazil with 5 World Cups. And they're not in Europe.
They are not in Europe, but their players are in Europe.
Okay.
So, Europe is the mecca of football. There is no argument about that. Okay? So, whatever Sabella might have achieved, you can't compare it with what Van Gaal achieved at club level, because
you look at European clubs, whatever you achieve there is like at the global level, at the peak. I mean, European Champions League is the peak of club football all over the world. So if you've won that, and if you've won titles in 2 or 3 European countries, then you deserve your respect. That is why I go with the Dutch manager, Louis van Gaal.
So finally, who wins this one? Argentina?
I think Argentina, for all the credit. I mean, you look at the team, they won on my reckoning 3-1. Then you look at the coach, yes, you give it to the Dutch, but you look at the environment. It suits the Argentines because this is South America. And again, there is this battle between Europe and South America. Now, somebody has won it 10 times, the other continent has won it 9 times. This is an opportunity to equal or to surpass. So, I won't totally rule out an all South American final. And if that happens, please, I want Argentina to win. Like I said, Brazil have not played to the level of winning the World Cup, in my opinion.
Argentina too have not, but you want to look at, I mean, what else will a Messi want to win except the World Cup to, really become a legend that the whole world knows he should be. And then looking at even the 2 teams, Argentina have played better football than Brazil at this tournament. So if it comes down to the 2 of them, I will want Argentina to win it. But who says we can't have an all-European final?
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still have 2 semi-finals to negotiate. But Cousin Milegede, thank you for joining us as always. You've watched the Big League Soccer, the World Cup edition, where we had our preview of the 2 World Cup semi-finals. Who do you think will win? Will it be Brazil over Germany, or will it be Argentina over the Netherlands? Join the debate, send in your comments, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. My name is Sunday Kweki. We will see you again